We're at Saturday night's main event and it's time for the Women's Tag Team Championship match between Rhiyo and the Judgement Day. But who will win? Who will leave Toronto as Women's Tag Team Champions? Well, the match is on and we start things off between Old Flames, former bitter rivals Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan. However, that doesn't last long as Liv tags out to Roxanne Perez, who steps up to Mommy, even hitting her in the chest with a chop. And with her showboating in front of the champ, she pays for this dearly, getting a headbutt for her troubles as she immediately rolls to the outside. But Rhea follows as she swings her into the barricade. Yet doing that once isn't enough for her as she does it again before finally putting her into the ring. However, that's when Liv Morgan tries coming out of nowhere looking for a forearm, which gets caught mid-air as Rhea throws her into the barricade all the same, but as she gets on the apron, the Prodigy tries to hit her back down. Though Roxy fails at this task as Rhea gets back into the ring and super kicks her down. Then she picks her up and throws her into the corner, as after 2 punches, she tags in Io Sky, who throws Roxy to one side just so she can kick her with assistance from the ropes as she climbs to the middle rope, booting Roxanne away, hitting a middle rope hurricanrana, sending Roxanne back out of the ring, leaving her in prime positioning for a suicide dive. As Io Sky goes back into the ring and hits one on Liv Morgan as well. And with Rhea throwing Roxanne back into the ring, Io goes back on the apron to springboard dropkick away, back into the ring, just like that. And she tries to cover, only getting her a 1 count. So once she gets up, she double knees Roxy's gut, although as she looks to go up high, Liv distracts her, giving Roxanne Perez a chance to recover as she forces her into the corner, and after a shot to the back, she turns her around and tags in Liv Morgan, as the Prodigy is used as a catapult for Liv Morgan to nail a codebreaker onto the Genius of the Sky. As she goes into the cover, similarly only getting a 1 count. So after a kick to the back, Liv picks her up and puts Io back into the corner and tags back in Roxanne Perez. As following an enziguri from the Prodigy, they line up Io and nail a vicious double drop kick, with Roxanne obviously going back into the cover, which yields the same result. So she goes to the middle rope and nails a frog smash on the Genius in the Sky. But once she gets up, she goes over to Liv Morgan and tags her back in, as it's now Liv who goes to the middle rope as she sentons Io Sky, who writhes around in pain. So Liv tries to cover, this time garnering a 2 count. Although that's not enough for her, as she double foot stomps her before drop kicking her back on her back. Then she double foot stomps her once more, going to the middle rope once more as well, this time for a simple yet effective double axe handle. And the covers seemingly never end, so Io has to kick out again, which leads to her being kicked in the gut and in the back. Then she picks her up and throws her into a non-taggable corner, kicking her twice and forearming her down. But her follow-up stomp gets met by Io's boot, who quickly tries going up top, getting pulled right back down to reality. However, she fights back with a big headbutt. Although as she tries to grab Liv, Miss Morgan knees her back and sends her out of the ring via a clothesline. And she quickly follows her, nailing a big elbow drop to the outside, and she's nowhere near done, throwing her into the ring post, and with the referee distracted, Roxanne Perez lays the boots into her, and she leaves her before the referee notices, so Liv takes full advantage of this, sending Io back into the ring, who slowly starts to stumble her way to her feet, and she gets forearmed and spinning heel kicked for her efforts. As Liv goes for the pin, though she can't get the win, as Io kicks out at 2. So she picks her up and throws her into the corner where the Prodigy lies, and the two get some more tag team offense going, wiping the floor with her through forearms, until eventually the two nail a knee drop backbreaker combination, which turns into a flatliner enziguri combination and all. And naturally, Roxanne Perez tries for the win. which doesn't come just quite yet, as Io Sky still has some fight left in her. And Rhea knows Io's struggling, so she begs and begs for the tag, which she can't find, as Roxanne Perez lays in the shots on the Genius of the Sky. And with a slap, this seemingly lights a fire under Io as she pushes the Prodigy back and she forearms and forearms her with all of her might, until she eventually collapses into a corner. But Io gets distracted taking out Liv Morgan as Roxanne manages to fight off her next attack as she even hits a front flip facebuster, bridging into the cover. Although like always, Io Sky kicks out. So she kicks her in the gut and back handspring sentons her. However, Rhea Ripley breaks up the pin. And this really aggravates Roxanne Perez, getting up in Mommy's grill, causing Io Sky's comeback as she dragon suplexes Roxanne Perez. But then, Liv Morgan pulls Rhea Ripley off the apron and throws her into the announcer's table. And after smashing Mommy's head into it, she decks her with several shots up until snap bearing her down and drop kicking her head. And this distracts Io Sky, so much so that she gets reversed hurricanranaed by the Prodigy, stunning her long enough for the impaling DDT to be followed up shortly after. But the cover that's made only grants her a 2, and this really makes Roxanne Perez even more mad, so Roxy looks to take a page out of Paige's book, which only leads to her being taken down by Io. But there's still no Rhea for the tag, so she just hurricanranaes the Prodigy back down, and she even takes Liv Morgan out as well, following this up with a roll through double foot stomp, as finally the tag to Rhea Ripley is made. And she's a house on fire, clotheslining Roxanne Perez twice, dropping her down and all. Then she picks her up and just chucks her into the corner, punching her twice and forearming her down. But of course, she's nowhere near done, as she dropkicks her out of the corner before sending to the heavens, though her landing is far from smooth, as Roxanne moves out of harm's way and quickly fires off a pop rocks. But she doesn't make the pin, rather tagging in Liv Morgan, who goes for an oblivion, yet Io saves her tag team partner, taking the bullet for her as Io Sky is laid out with an oblivion. And this makes Rhea Ripley furious, which gets amplified when Liv tramples over her, and after taunting at her as well, she gets big booted down as the Prodigy gets taken out too. As with this, Rhea Ripley kicks Liv Morgan in the gut and riptides her, and she goes into the cover for only a 2 count. Rhea is beside herself, so she picks her up, though Liv Morgan rakes the eyes as she fires off shot after shot just in an attempt to take Mommy down, which ultimately fails as Rhea looks for a headbutt, getting blocked with an uppercut as Liv looks to steal the win and the women's tag team titles with a roll-up, but Rhea kicks out, so once both women get up, Liv looks for one last oblivion, which gets blocked by Rhea Ripley. However, unlike the last encounter, Liv fights out of Mommy's grasp, planting her down with the second codebreaker of the match, which draws blood, as Liv effectively crawls into the cover. She begs for that to be it, even though it's not. Now it's she who's beside herself with rage, so she picks her up and drapes her onto the ropes. But again, the oblivion misses, and again, the riptide connects. Rhea has the match won, yet Roxanne denies her victory, breaking up the pin. And Rhea goes over to her, although she gets shoulder barged in the gut. As with her stunned, Roxanne Perez grabs her and suplexes her to the concrete floor. She's done, and the Prodigy knows it, throwing her back into the ring for the oblivion to connect. But Io Sky is alive as she breaks up the pin, and she quickly sends Roxanne Perez to the outside, subsequently nailing a springboard moonsault onto her. Going back into the ring to see Rhea Ripley stun Liv Morgan with a headbutt. As she rises her from the dead, puts her into the corner, tagging back in Io as Rhea puts Liv in the electric chair position, only for her to tell Io to go up to the top red district. as she grabs her and Spanish flies off Rhea Ripley, and this spells the beginning of the end for the Judgment Day, as Io Sky ascends to the heavens again to nail the over the moonsault. However, she's still not done, going back up there one last time to connect a moonstomp. As with that, Rhyo defeat the Judgment Day. They are still your Women's Tag Team Champions. Who on earth can stop them? Well, we're just gonna have to wait and see. As if you like this story, I think this might interest you.